Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Rifki and this is iDesign. Today I have a new video for you guys and we're going to be going into an open house, touring an open house today. Basically going through to look at how the house was designed, giving my perspective as a designer and how I would do it and how I would furnish the house. So if you guys are interested in following along and seeing what we can get into, then keep watching. So the first thing you're greeted with when you walk into the house is this small entryway. It looks like it's trying to be a breakfast nook, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's connected to the butler's pantry, and then you see the hallway there leading to the family room. So I didn't furnish each and every space that we toured throughout the home because that was just going to be really a lot of upheaval. What I did was focus mainly on spaces that people tend to struggle with knowing how to furnish, or maybe have hesitations with furnishing. And so I just wanted to focus on those areas. And for me, that would be like the entryway, the second family style, open second floor where all the bedrooms were, and the kitchen, and the main living room that's connected to the open concept kitchen. So those four spaces we're gonna work on, and I hope you guys like what it is that I came up with. So let's get started. Let's dive right in. We're gonna work on the entryway first. But for the entryway, what I did here was, first of all, got rid of the pendant light. It was just a little too traditional with the open upside down lampshade and with the arched, with the lights coming out on that arched style. It was just a little too traditional for me. So I got rid of that, replaced it with something a little bit more modern, added in a blue area rug that has a beautiful yet classic design, and then added some gingham plaid style Roman shades for this room because this is the first room that people see when they walk in, so you need some form of privacy. And I figured the inside mount Roman shades would be helpful to not minimize the space and make it feel overwhelming. And so that's what I did there. And then I added in a small round table. I went with a lighter wood tone than what the floors are in this home. I figured doing something darker would be a little too contrasting and wouldn't really make sense. And I felt like this space needed to stay light and airy. And so I went with a lighter wood tone round table and chairs with a white fabric material on it. And then just adding on some finishing touches like some artwork and some flowers on the table really helped to tie in this space. And so then next we're going to go through the butler's pantry to get to the kitchen as well. But this butler's pantry, or what's made to look to be something similar to a butler's pantry, is pretty cool. I can definitely imagine like having maybe a coffee bar or just displaying like glassware and chinaware in that area. And then with the rest of the kitchen, as we're seeing here, it's pretty open, very open concept, very big island. We have a cooktop and a hood over the cooktop, but the oven, like as you saw, is separate, and they have two wall ovens, it looks like. I don't think that's a microwave. It looks like maybe a microwave and a wall oven, but the kitchen's pretty big. And so let's just move on to the next space, which is going to be the kitchen. And I'm really excited about this space because right now we're working with white on white on white, and it's just all white. And some people may like that and prefer that, but if you're, I don't know, it's just a little bit cold to me. And I think adding some color, and I understand like why the builders went with white, just to keep it neutral and to appeal to a wider audience. But I think what people are looking for nowadays is like character and warmth in their home. And so I think I would have done a different color. I would have done a different cabinetry color. Still something neutral, but it's, you know, a little bit warmer and it anchors that space a little bit more, and you can actually see the cabinets. I think before it's like you really couldn't like see them because they were just blending in. But now once we add that color onto it, you can really see, and it starts to feel warm already. And so I made this like grayish green, even like almost brown cabinetry color. And don't be afraid if you have cabinets and you're looking to upgrade them, change the design, change the color. And if you have the budget for it, depending on what your budget is, you should, you can repaint your cabinetry. And you could either do it yourself or you can hire someone to repaint your cabinetry. You can use contact paper. I've definitely been seeing a lot of that lately. And yeah, you don't have to renovate your whole kitchen and do a bunch of demo and buy all new cabinetry to revamp and redesign your kitchen. Changing out the hardware definitely adds a different style and look to it. So I just wanted to give you guys that tip. And then next, what I did was make the island like a walnut wood tone. And yes, it's different than the floor, but it's still within that same tone. It's not super dark and it's not too light, but it's just a different wood altogether. And I think that combination between the cabinetry on the wall and the island really complements each other and just brings in more of those like brings in more natural elements into the home as well, making it that much more warm. And I think that stainless steel hood is just a little bit too builder grade for me. It's just a little too naked. So I went with something that matched the island. Once again, bringing in that wood somewhere else and tying that in. So that way it's not lonely and it just makes a little bit more sense. And then after that, we have some bar stools. I think probably about 4, maybe 5 could fit here. And I went with this like grayish green fabric, which I feel like ties in the cabinetry in the back. And what I also really like about these bar stools are the brass gold metal legs. I feel like that's pretty cool to see that fabric and the metal together. And with so much like wood and other natural tones, I thought bringing something metal into this space with like a lighter and more open legs would be helpful to not feel too claustrophobic. And it keeps the space open and your eye line clear. So this is how I would upgrade and redesign or just refinish, because that's pretty much what we did, was just refinish this kitchen. And I think it looks great. This space here looks to be what the formal dining room is. And I love all of the windows, you know, it brings in a lot of lighting. And I see they put like a small arched transom above the window. And so that's pretty cool. So plenty of opportunities for window treatments here and just bringing in a lot of light. And then with the family room being so connected and having this open concept, there's also a ton of windows along this wall, bringing in light, which I love that. And we have an electric fireplace. It looks to be tiled and with a pretty simple mantle on it. All of the flooring on this floor or this level of the home is LVT. It wasn't real hardwood, but it was LVT, which can be useful sometimes, depending on the application and depending on how much wear and tear, or if you want real hardwood floors, that also depends on what sort of maintenance you're looking to have. But I'll just say that I'm more of a proponent for hardwood floors. All right, so next is the living room, which is connected right off the kitchen. And so with this open concept, you have to keep in mind all of those colors. And so I started with adding some inside mount wood slat blinds, and then also adding in a large sectional with an area rug that has some of those green, brown, cream, a lot of, I think, neutral. For me, blues and greens are still neutrals because they're colors that we see that naturally occur in nature. So that's like a neutral color for me that will always work inside the home. So we're bringing in this really large sectional and a really large area rug for the sectional to sit on top of, which also helps to anchor this room and make it feel like it's its own separate room, even though it's an open concept. And so we add in a coffee table. I wanted to continue to bring in that same wood tone and more wood textures into the space. We're working with the wood blinds and the wood island. So tying in more wood. I think adding in another like armchair, single armchair, or two could probably maybe work in this space, but also having that be a unique color or pattern to continue to tie in the area rug and also the bar stools from in the kitchen definitely helps to make this space feel very thoughtful and well designed. And let's add in the TV here, a new light fixture, just because everything here is just the recessed lighting, and I feel like adding the light fixture will just continue to anchor this space and make it feel like it's its own and bring a little bit more design quality to it. And then let's add in some artwork on either side of the TV. Now with that, you can either go with artwork or you can go with like a bookshelf installation, and either one will work. It's just really up to you, but just showing like what type of scale of artwork or bookshelf you're looking to put in here. I would go with something that definitely fits the space. You don't want anything too small or too big. And then if you like a little bit more of a cozier environment, something a little bit softer on the windows, then I added in some drapery, which can cover that whole wall and just completely close off any maybe light that could be bleeding through the wood blinds. And it just creates a softer touch to the space, adds in a little bit more color, and makes that wall feel a little bit less naked. So either one, whichever one works for you. This is just what I particularly like, that sort of layered effect. And so yeah, so here is the living room. Here's how I would furnish it. And I hope you guys like this and see where it is I'm continuing to tie in and draw from certain colors. It's not the exact same color, but it's within the same color palette. We're all tying it all together in a nice, neat little bow. And then right off the family room, we have a study, which could be like a little bit of an in-law suite. It was advertised that it could be a bedroom or in-law suite, but I think it's mainly meant to be an office or like a study. And it's a pretty decent size. It has a window as well. And with the glass French doors, I mean, all this room really wants to be is an office or a playroom, something that is a public space and doesn't need much privacy. So moving on from there, we have what looks to be a powder room. Powder room is a great opportunity to be able to show off some quirky personality and to just really have fun in the space because it's so small and it's not a lot going on. People may not see it as often, and so your exposure to it is limited, so you can be very impactful in a powder room. All right, so this is the second level of the home, and this is where all of the bedrooms are. We've got the public or the second floor bathroom. We have Jack and Jill's sink set up, a very large mirror, and a good amount of cabinetry and storage. And then tried to create separate zones in this bathroom, which is appreciated. So you have your toilet and your tub. And so that's kind of cool. So that way someone can be in there and then other people can still use the sink and brush their teeth in the morning when they're getting ready. And then you have this really, really large open public space here. It seems to me like it's supposed to be like another family room, but just a lot more casual. And I love the windows here as well. A lot of opportunity for light to be let in. That day that we went was pretty gloomy, so we didn't get to see like full sun shining through all the windows. We're gonna go to the second floor, and I think, if you have younger kids, this could be a good playroom or play area for them. Once again, it's something a little bit more casual as far as a living room or family room setup. And, because this is your second floor, guests that you're not that familiar with probably aren't going to be on the second floor, so you can be a little bit messy up here or whatever the case may be. So with this space, immediately for me, I just thought of an entertainment space. And so with that, I just completely color drenched the room. Just like ceiling, wall, everything, just color drenched everything. And I feel like that really makes this room feel like, okay, this is what's happening here. This is the entertainment space. It creates a cozier vibe. The ceilings are already low up here, so let's just embrace the cozy den-like atmosphere. And we have plenty of windows on that wall to bring in light, so I'm not scared to make that a darker color. And then next, I added in some wood slat paneling along this wall. And then we're going to place our TV entertainment center here. And once again, I'm bringing in like darker, richer wood tones. This is like a black furniture piece with pops of the wood inside because because it has glass doors. So that continues to tie in the wood slat walls as well. And then another large sectional, it's got a chase on it on either end. I also brought in an ottoman, just making the space feel very cozy and comfortable. And then bringing in an area rug to anchor the space a little bit more, something a little bit more fun and organic. And then I think just curtains along this entire wall really help to make this space feel softer. Light, not like room darkening curtains or anything like that, but something sheer and on the lighter side just really helps to make this space feel that more airy and cozy and just, like the family, the casual family area. And then bringing in some wall sconces on either side of the sofa to help with more lighting opportunities. Yeah, this space actually doesn't have any recessed lighting in here. So adding in those wall sconces really help. You can get battery operated wall sconces or you can hardwire them, get an electrician out and all that stuff. But yeah, adding in some wall sconces on either side of the sofa here, I think would really help to anchor the space. And then some artwork and some plant foliage just continues to bring in more life, more design, more thoughtfulness. And yeah, this is the finished secondary family entertainment room. One of the main features that we try to look for in a home, especially if you're looking to buy, is the primary suite and what that is going to look like. Bedroom, bathroom. I think that is just like part of the piece de la resistance. And we're always trying to like make sure that meets, our standard, especially if you're looking to buy a home or even renovate and build. I think that's one of the things that, in my experience, a lot of homeowners are looking to upgrade is their primary bedroom and bathroom. And so you have a very nice spacious standing shower, and you've got a freestanding tub aligned on the window and another window letting in plenty of light, and the double vanity sink setup, Jack and Jill, I think is the older term, but it's just a double vanity at this point. And then you can see that there's a water closet also in here. So yeah, that's a pretty small water closet. So that's pretty much the tour of the house. I didn't bother going into the other bedrooms that the house had because they were just really small and it just didn't seem worth touring through those bedrooms. They were pretty plain and simple. So I just focused on the rooms of the house that I think we all look for the most and that we're paying attention to the most when we're attending an open house or looking online or searching for homes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and were able to take inspiration from the way that I furnished each of these rooms. Comment below which design you like the best of these spaces. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below which space was your favorite that I designed. And I'd love to hear your feedback. And with that, design is in the mind, so continue to think out loud. See you guys next time. Bye.